So, Ouroboros with True Patriot. Weird one, I know. First off, in case you can't tell, I'm like half asleep. I'm absolutely exhausted. So, we're going to start this off with just like the disclaimer. I don't actually recommend this. It's just a bit fun and gimmicky. And the main reason I don't recommend this is quite simply, you kill things before you're able to proc True Patriot. Other than like some named and chungers, you're basically not going to get any benefit from True Patriot. You're always essentially going to be missing at least one of its buffs. So I don't actually recommend it. However, that being said, one thing I really do like about this is having a 66 round mag. As well as this kind of actually, because of that 66 round mag, actually puts True Patriot on the very bottom of the this could be considered meta list. Admittedly, like I said, it's at the very bottom, but it could be considered meta simply just because of the increase in magazine. And the reason we're going to go for True Patriot over the Brazos is 1, True Patriot is easier to farm. 2, it actually does offer support and buffing systems within the gear set, whereas Brazos is just skill haste, skill tier, and then 20% magazine increase. We get a lot more usability out of True Patriot. We get a magazine increase, a total ammo pool increase, as well as the ability to, on occasion, if we don't kill things too quick, actively proc some buffs. Either the enemy does less damage, you do more damage, or you're able to heal. Now, in the background footage of this video, I am running a Grupo, or it might be Sokolov chest with Memento, and this is just because I found it relatively easy. And please do not mistake certain things about this weapon as like the OP. In some of our group runs, we've been hitting like 3.6 million a shot with this damn thing. Granted, that is a lot of damage, but one thing you need to understand is that at a base value, this has the exact same damage, not DPS, damage, as Vector ACP, Dark Winter. It has the exact same damage. What makes this weapon OP is its fire rate. Okay, so try not to look at the damage as something to aspire for, simply just because, especially in this build, as you can see, I'm hitting like 400k depending on where I hit. It's not about the actual individual damage, it's about how quickly you can get those bullets downrange for your DPS, and it's because of this insane amount of DPS that this weapon has, because of its ridiculous fire rate, where you're actually probably able to put it on basically anything and it's going to work perfectly fine. Just that base, as long as you're like SHD 1000, or you've at the very least maxed out crit chance on your SHD watch, just at base this weapon has a 41% crit chance. Just at base. So you're going to get some pretty hefty crits. You're going to be able to stack in a lot of other perks and bonuses into your build, because you don't need all this extra crit chance. Like, what do you need? Like 2 more rolls and you're at like 53. That's basically it. You need 2 crit chance rolls or 2 crit chance mods and you're at 53. You're at like a stable enough amount already. Go for 3 and you're at 59. You're basically at the cap. That's all you need. It's kind of ridiculous. So, Ouroboros with True Patriot, is it worth it? Well, this is like a yes and no answer. Yes, because it's Ouroboros. It really doesn't actually matter what you put it on. It's going to be fun no matter what. It kind of actually brings the weapon down to earth a little bit. I'm aware there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's so OP, it's amazing, we love it. But then there's a lot of people, such as myself, that realise this is going to cause an absolute imbalance within the stats of the game. Already we're seeing basically areas of the game where it's like, do you have Ouroboros? No. Do you have Regulus? No. Then we're not going to play with you. Like, you have to have one or the other. Like, the whole elitism side of the thing has become so much worse. If you're in the PvP community, I'm already getting reports as well as a ton of clips of people that are playing 100% legit, but the amount of harassment they're getting for being a cheater is unreal. But they're not being a cheater, they just have Ouroboros. This weapon unbalances so many things, but at the same time, it can bring things like True Patriot, which I know a lot of people are wanting it to be reworked and buffed and bloody blah. At the same time, Ouroboros, because you can put it on these absolute trash tier sets, it really does bring them up. As long as you're using Ouroboros, it basically just brings everything up like 10 places. It's kind of ridiculous. But the problem then is the top 10 builds that were already up there, when they move up 10 places, they've got nothing to compete against. It has destroyed the meta. Anyway, I'm pretty certain you're not here to hear me rant about how this weapon is potentially very damaging, and you're more here for builds. So, sorry for my 6-minute rant. True Patriot with Ouroboros. What can we go with here? Well, I am going to be putting these on screen, but I'm not going to be doing the math simply because obviously we can probably guess when it comes to DPS, True Patriot isn't going to be able to compete with Strikers or Hunter's Fury. I would hope that's self-evident. Like, genuinely, I would hope. If you don't understand why, then sorry. Now, due to how True Patriot works, annoyingly, this basically means that the True Patriot backpack is immediately redundant. You're not going to be able to get enough out of the backpack to actually make it worthwhile, considering we're able to use a multitude of different backpacks. The chest is questionable. It does increase the rotation speed of the buffs, so there is scope there to potentially be able to actually get all of the buffs up and running before you kill the target. That being said, I don't actually see the point. I kind of feel like the main reason we're going to be running True Patriot is for the increase in magazine and overall ammo pool size. The 4-piece bonus of it, I'm not too certain about. It might actually just be more worthwhile running 3-piece True Patriot. Certainly not 2-piece with Ninja Bite Backpack, because in order to compensate with this, we are going to be needing a decent backpack talent. So for this, just in case we can get use out of it, I am going to be going for 4-piece True Patriot, the mask, the holster, the knees and the gloves. And the backpack here, or the chest, one of which will need to be Grupo. And from here, you're basically able to just mix and match what you want, realistically. You can go for Memento, you can go for a Sokolov piece, you could potentially go for a Habsburg or a Providence piece for headshot. I don't recommend a Cheska piece simply because you're not going to need the crit chance. You're not. Other than that, there's not really a lot to go over. I am sorry, but I just wanted to sort of get my thoughts out on this, simply just because, like I said at the start, although True Patriot is technically bad, Ouroboros is that good, it can just about bring it up. And the main reason for this is because the burst and sustain of Ouroboros is absolutely insane. So what happens if we just increase the mag size? We get even more. And in some areas, this can actually outperform other setups. For example, due to the increase in mag size, the sustained DPS of Ouroboros on True Patriot is actually higher than the sustained DPS of Ouroboros on Hunter's Fury. Not Strikers, but Hunter's Fury. That being said, the burst DPS of Ouroboros on Hunter's Fury is nearly double that of Ouroboros on True Patriot. So it's a kind of a weird mix, and it is going to mostly depend on how you want to play. And on a realistic side as well, if you wanted to put blue cores on your True Patriot build, this would actually be dual purpose. 1, you get more armor for those that want more armor. 2, it's going to bring your damage down, hopefully, just enough so that you potentially could get full use out of the full True Patriot 4-piece bonus, full flag. Theoretically, you're still going to absolutely annihilate reds. Purples, I think, might just about survive. Yellows probably will, named elites certainly, and obviously chungas. So it really is kind of going to be mostly up to you. There's going to be a lot of customizations with this weapon. It's going to be very, very largely down to how you really wish to play. Much to my own annoyance, because there's going to be really no real wrong way to build with Ouroboros other than smashing it in over the 60% crit chance cap. Now, this does lead into a problem, which is going to be on high-end builds, which hopefully I'll be covering pretty damn soon. And if you are a follower of mine, you probably have seen a community post where I said that we'll be going over Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush or Bloodsucker at some point. Now, annoyingly, like I said, this is not really a lot to go over with True Patriot. Hopefully this will suffice. But in the meantime, have fun, good luck, don't die, bad for the health.